Jane Miller for Acoustic Guitar Magazine. In this lesson we're talking about suspended chords, sus4, sus2, and I'm going to talk you through the examples in the lesson. First couple of examples are D sus4. A sus4, resolving to A. So again, D sus4, resolving to the D. A sus4, resolving to the A. Example 3 takes you through A sus4, D sus4, and we add in E sus4 in a progression that you might see typically 1-4-5 progression. Example 4 begins dominant 7 sus4 chords, D7 sus4. And example 5 takes us through A7 to A7 sus4 and back. So again, a dominant 7 chord with a sus4, the 4 replaces the 3rd. We're using D7 sus4, A7 sus4, and E7 sus4 again. Example 5. In example 6, I wanted to point out that if you do something to an E7 or an A7 chord, you can then use that in a bar chord. So for example, E7 sus4 going to E7 can be brought up the neck to be B flat 7 sus4 to B flat 7. So example 6 shows this, B flat 7 sus4 to B flat 7. E flat 7 sus4 to E flat 7. So altogether, example 6. Example 7, we're going to talk about sus2. So like sus4 chords, sus2, the note that replaces the 3rd is now 2 instead of 4, but the 3rd will be missing just like in the sus4 chords. So here's D, D sus2, A sus2. Example 7. And again, now we can move that up the neck to be a bar chord. So if you needed a C sharp sus2, we're having C sharp in the bass, but the same form as A sus2. For C sharp sus2, an E sus2 could be thought of as this. And you'll notice the shape is like the D sus2 we had done earlier. Brought up the neck by a whole step. Example 8 is C sharp sus2. Followed by the E sus2. Example 9 shows a C sus2. And I'm sticking to the 4 middle strings on this one. I don't want to play the open E string because that's the 3rd of the chord and that's the note that we're replacing with the 2. If I wanted to play the high string, I'll add a G on top. And that takes care of the problem with the E. So now we have example 9. Open D ringing out, that's the sus2. For an extra colorful sound on dominant 7 sus4 chords, you can add a 9, and that'll give you some nice sort of spiciness and a little tension added to the chord. One way to do that is to go straight across the 3rd fret for a C9 sus4. This is example 10. And right straight across the neck we have C, F, B flat, D, and G. In example 11, we have an E9 sus4. It looks just like a B minor 7 chord, but with E in the bass. You can lose the F sharp to turn that into an E, and you still have an F sharp on the high end. So either way you play that, it's E9 sus4. So example 11. Very subtle difference in the way it sounds. F sharp or E on that 4th string. Example 12 has a G sus4, add a 7, and add a 9. So those 3 chords in example 12. G sus4 is a triad. I'm going to add a 7 by putting the F on the D string, and then put the A on the G string to make it a G9 sus4. And you might notice that that looks just like an F triad, but with G in the bass. So here's example 12 altogether. Example 13 shows some jazzy ways you might treat a progression with these chords. G9 sus4, and it's a movable chord form. Move it up to B flat, move it up to D flat. For example 14, I've written a short etude that uses some of these sus4 chords and sus2 chords and dominant 9 sus4, incorporated with other things you might just play more typically. So this is the piece called Blue Suspenders. So I would encourage you to use your own ideas and taste and incorporate these sus2, sus4, dominant 9, sus4 into your playing and integrate them into your other ideas that you use more typically, and use your own creative judgment. I'm going to play Blue Suspenders one more time and just add some more rhythmic things. And throughout all of these examples, you can feel free to be creative as you feel fit with any of these. 1, 2, 3. When you're feeling ready to take it to the next level, you'll see one last example here that takes you through an A9 sus4 and then an A7 flat 9. You're in a good position to do that here. A9 sus4, and the B is the 9, you want to flat that, turn it into B flat, and then you bring your first finger down for the C sharp so it's no longer a sus4. So A9 sus4 to A7 flat 9, and then that will want to resolve to either a D major 7, or you can resolve it to a D minor. And I'm using D minor 9 here. 3, 4.